welcome back to the channel where your likes, comments, and subs are always greatly appreciated. I have another video featuring the Zoom R20 multi-track recorder today. Sorry I haven't posted anything in a while. I've had a bad head cold. I've been waiting for my voice to come back. But for this video, I wanted to focus on the built-in tuner that's present in the R20. And while that's really an unglamorous option or feature of any kind of multi-tracker, which once you're paying $150 US, you should probably have a built-in tuner in a multi-tracker. It's unglamorous, but it's still a very necessary tool that should be inside of your multi-tracker. And I'm happy to report that this doesn't have a bare bones one. It has a pretty nicely fully featured tuner that you can take advantage of. So I wanted to highlight that in the video today. And it's really important to have a good quality tuner built into your multi-tracker whenever you're doing any kind of recordings, because if you are plugging in a bunch of digital synths, not going to be a problem. Digital keyboards, those things are digitally tuned. There's nothing to adjust. But if you have a variety of instruments that you're recording for your song and they need to be tuned, having one of them off by just a little bit is going to make a huge difference in your song. It's going to stick out like a sore thumb. So it's imperative that you have a good quality tuner. And if you're using guitars and bass, other strings, woodwinds, or brass, and if each one of those musicians who's bringing their instrument to the table, or maybe you're bringing it to the table and using it for your recordings, and you're using separate individual tuners, something like this, for each instrument, if each tuner is off by just a little bit, once you have your finished recording and you're trying to mix everything, you're going to notice that one of those instruments was off by just a little bit. So it's great that the R20 has a fully featured tuner inside of it, because this way you can run every single instrument that you're going to record through the tuner first, make sure everything is perfectly lined up and all your instruments are all in tune, so you can get a great high quality recording. So I'm going to show you how to use the tuner with a couple different features. We'll start off by just tuning an electric guitar with passive pickups. So I will have that plugged into over here, input 1 with the high Z option on, and I will also arm track number 1, so this way the sound will be routed through input 1 to track 1, and then we can record onto the R20, but we're going to actually just use the tuner. So I'll show you how that looks on the screen. Okay, so for an electric guitar, there's a couple different ways that we can get to the tuner. Again, I've got my electric guitar in channel 1. You can see that here in the fader view. If we want to get to the tuner, we can do that a couple different paths. One of the ways that you could do it is in the track view. I have track number 1. Again, you need to have it armed. In this way, you can allow the sound to actually go from the input into the R20, if you will, if you're trying to visualize it. But if we've got track number 1 highlighted, we could touch it, go to track settings. It's armed for recording. Come down here, and under send effects, we can select the send effect. We've got deluxe crunch on. If you go to the options for the effects patch, you'll see essentially the different pedals that you'll be using for the deluxe crunch effect, but you'll notice that it has this tuning fork over on the left side. If you touch that, you'll be sent to the tuner screen. I'm going to back out of that for just a second and show you another way that you can get to the tuner function. Again, I've got track 1 armed for recording. Go to the settings cog up here in the corner. You touch that, you're in the project setting menu now. Scroll down all the way to the bottom, and there is the tuner. We can touch that, and now we're at the tuner screen. So we could use this fully functional tuner for our guitar. I have it set right now at the bottom for chromatic. You can see it's going to give me the note that I'm playing with my open strings on the guitar. And you can adjust that slightly. So the chromatic setting is exactly what you'd expect it to be. You'll actually see the note that you're playing, and it'll tell you how close you are to actually playing that correct note that's perfectly in pitch. You can change what you want to standardize this to. This is set for a pretty typical tuner of an A with a 440 hertz. You can adjust that though and pick what you want your standard to be, up to I think 445 down to 435. So I'll move that up to 440 again to kind of standardize our pitch. Now that was the chromatic setting. If we move this over to guitar, you could set this up and actually it'll just tell you what the string number is as you are trying to tune your strings. So this is my open E, which is the 6th string. If you have a 7-string guitar, it will highlight the 7th string. So this is where you don't really care about the note. I mean, it's the same thing, but you don't care about the note. You just want it easy. Which string am I tuning at that time? And it'll tell you the number of the string. The other nice thing is that you'll have the flat section that's available to you to adjust when you're under the guitar setting. If I'm under a chromatic, you'll kind of notice that the flat is grayed out. I'm not able to select anything for the flats. But if I wanted to drop my strings down by a flat, I can do that. And if I then play the note while it's set for a flat, if I have my open E, you can see I'm playing an open E that's a natural sound, and it's going to calibrate it to being dropped by a half step. There we go. So it's an easy way to drop tune your guitar if you want. Other things that you could do that are actually kind of nice, you could also tune it for a bass, so this would be available for a 5-string bass. Again, it'll give you the numbers instead of the notes that you're playing when you are playing your open strings. But the other thing that you could do, which you could tell Zoom really is focused on guitar players with the R20, you can set it for different open styles of playing. So this would be, if you, instead of having your traditional tuning, you can tune your guitar for all the strings. It'll guide you through all the strings that if you tune them correctly, they'll actually play an open A. I'm not going to do it right here, but this would be something that you would hear. I think the Goo Goo Dolls is a great example of a band that uses a lot of open tunings. So you have open A, so you could tune all your strings to, so this way when you just play an open guitar, it'll sound like an A chord. Open D, play all your strings open, it would sound like a D, an E, and a G. So you have all these options that the tuner will walk you through. You can also set it up to put your guitar in drop D tuning. So this is just a standard drop D tuning where the top string, instead of being an E, is a D. Makes it easier for you to play power chords. Go. So you have a lot of different options for you. This will bring you back to then chromatic after that. So you have a lot of different options that you can explore with the tuner using an electric guitar. So besides an active pickup or a passive pickup that you're plugging in with a 1/4-inch jack directly into the R20 for tuning purposes, you can also use a mic and then tune any instrument that is acoustically played. So I've got a condenser mic here, and I've got that plugged into input number 5. I turned on phantom power because it is a condenser mic, moved up the gain. And if we want to record anything, we just have to make sure that we are on track 5 and we are arming track 5 to allow the sound to go through, and then we can tune any instrument. So I have a viola here that I'll just pluck instead of play because it's just easier for me to hold. But what we need to do is go into the settings and select the tuner again for, now it'll be track 5, and you can see it will tune any acoustic instrument as well, as you would expect any tuner to do so. But I will say that I do enjoy the nice graphical, the big graphical display of the R20 with the touchscreen. And it works really well for all of your tuning purposes, no matter what the instrument is. It's a great way to standardize all your instruments to make sure that your recording for your song is going to come out sounding great. So that's all I have for this video. I hope that you found it helpful, and I'll see you again next time. Goodbye.